Okay, have a look into this ICAI study material questions related to this customs first chapter. What are the provisions relating to effective date of notification issued under section 25 of Customs Act 1962? Section 25 deals with exemptions. So they are telling what is the effective date of notification. Suppose if there is a date that is mentioned in the notification, from that date it is effective. If there is no date mentioned in the notification, the date when it is published in the official gazette, that will be effective. Okay, so we need to take the date when it is published in the official gazette, that should be taken. Okay, so that is to be taken in this case. Okay, so here you can see, so the date of effect of every notification issued shall be the date of its issue by the central government for publication in the official gazette. Okay, unless otherwise provided in the notification. Issued means the date when it is signed by the competent authority. Suppose if the notification is issued on 2nd November and published in 4th November, it is the 2nd November which will be taken as the effective date of notification. And there is one amendment in this place where any exemption is granted subject to any condition. Okay, conditional exemptions. Such exemption shall, unless otherwise specified or varied or resigned, be valid up to 31st day of March falling immediately after 2 years from the date of such grant or variation. Means any conditional exemption, so that conditional exemptions will be valid up to 2 years from the date when that exemption is given, exemption notification is given. That's an amendment here. The above rule does not apply to exemption granted through special orders. So the special orders are issued separately and that will be communicated to the beneficiary directly to the government, and that will not be published in the official gazette. Which one? Special order. For that this effective date and all will not be applicable. Okay, that is the first question. Then second question, an importer imported certain inputs for manufacture of final product. A small portion of the imported inputs were damaged in the transit and could not be used in the manufacture of final product. An exemption notification was in force, providing exemption in respect of specified raw materials imported into India for use in the manufacture of specified goods, which was applicable to the imports made by the importer in the present case. Briefly examine whether the importer could claim the benefit of the aforesaid notification in respect of entire lot of inputs imported, including those which are damaged in the transit. See, this is not related to abatement and all. This is related to one case law. There is one case in this regard, BPL display devices case of Supreme Court. What is it Supreme Court is telling in this case? That whatever words that are used in the exemption notification is that the goods imported should be for use in the manufacture of goods. Nowhere it is specified that it should be used in the manufacture. For use should be understood differently from used in manufacture. For use means the intention. They are importing it for use in manufacture, but the process laws or transit laws, which are normal in nature, will be definitely be allowed, which means that no need to pay customs duty on that part which is lost, but customs duty is fully exempted on the total lot. That is this case, BPL display devices case. BPL display devices limited, BPL Display Devices Limited, Ghaziabad, you can see Supreme Court case, BPL Display Devices Limited, Supreme Court case. What is that they are telling? So the words, so what is to be the highlighted portion? The highlighted portion here is that the words for use have to be constructed to mean intended for use. For use means what? Intended to be used. Therefore, they are telling benefit of notification cannot be denied in respect of the goods which are intended for use in the manufacture of final product, but cannot be so used due to shortage or leakage. This is the keywords that you need to write in the exam. So BPL display devices case, and then you need to write that Supreme Court held that the words for use have to be constructed to mean incidental to use. So benefit of notification cannot be denied in respect of goods which are imported, so intended to use in manufacture but could not be used because of shortage or leakage or etc. So therefore, whether the importer is entitled to the benefit? Yes. Conclusion: importer can claim benefit of the notification in respect of entire lot of inputs imported, including those which were damaged in transit. Okay. Then next question, question number 3. Messrs Pure Energy Limited is engaged in oil exploration and has imported software containing seismic data. The importer is entitled to exemption from customs duty subject to the condition that an essentiality certificate granted by the Directorate General of Hydrocarbons is produced at the time of importation of the goods. So the import is subject to the condition that they need to produce a essentiality certificate. From whom? Directorate General of Hydrocarbons, which is a government authority. Though the importer applied for the certificate within the statutory time limit prescribed for the same, but they could not obtain it within the reasonable time. And the Customs Department rejected the importer's claim, stating that you are not eligible for the exemption. Briefly explain whether the department's action is sustainable in law. So there is one case law in this regard. So that is Tullow India Operations case, Supreme Court case. Tullow India Operations, again this is also a Supreme Court case. What is that they are telling? When there is a condition upon which the exemption is granted and the fulfillment of that condition is not within the power of that person, so then it is beyond his power. So then fulfillment of that condition cannot be considered to be non-availability of exemption, because it is not within his control, because that particular certificate should be given by the Directorate General of Hydrocarbons. If a condition is not within the power or control of the importer and depends upon the acts of the public functionaries, non-compliance of such condition cannot be held to be a condition precedent which would disable it from obtaining the benefit at all times to come. So the certificate has not been granted. Moreover, this has to be given by the Ministry of Petrochemical and Natural Gas, which is a public authority. Therefore, what is the conclusion in this case? Whether the importer is eligible to avail the benefit under this notification? Yes, he is eligible. Okay. Then another question, question number 4. Explain with reference to decided case law whether clearances from DTA to SEZ is chargeable to export duty under the SEZ Act 2005 or Customs Act 1962. In this regard, one more point also we need to know. Whenever goods are sold from SEZ to DTA, Special Economic Zone to DTA, it will be treated as deemed import as per SEZ Act 2005, and the person who is purchasing the goods from SEZ, who is in DTA, purchasing the goods from SEZ, is required to pay customs duty along with IGST. So that is deemed import as per SEZ Act 2005, even though it is not an import as per customs law. Then SEZ Act 2005 will override any law for the time being in force, so we need to pay customs duty. However, the reverse. What is that reverse? When goods are sold from DTA to SEZ, nowhere, that is either in Customs Act 1962 nor in SEZ Act 2005, they have not given that it is export. So therefore, it will not be treated as export. Moreover, as per the general meaning of export, goods are said to be exported only when goods are taken from India to a place outside India. So in this case, that will not be treated as export. This is given in Tirupati Udyog case, an AP High Court case. Okay. So you can see this in case of Tirupati Udyog Limited, AP High Court case, it is held that clearances from DTA to SEZ are not chargeable. Clearances of goods from DTA to SEZ are not chargeable to export either under SEZ or under Customs Act. Okay. So on what basis? So they have given some observations. The charging section nowhere says that he will be covered under section 12. SEZ Act does not contain any provision in this regard, and section 12 levy also makes it apparent that customs duty can be levied only when goods imported into India or exported outside India, and India is territorial waters. So since both SEZ and DT are located within territorial waters, that would not attract any levy. So whether we need to pay any duty? No. And the same ruling is even given in Gujarat High Court in SR Steel versus UI, and this is maintained by Supreme Court. When department went for an appeal, Supreme Court rejected that appeal. So which means that Supreme Court is also in principle has agreed to this. So this will have a equivalence of Supreme Court judgment, but these are given by two cases: Tirupati Udyog in AP High Court case, SR Steel Gujarat High Court case. Any case law reference you can make. Then next question, question number 5, an interesting one. Messrs XYZ, a 100% EOU, imported DG sets and furnace oil duty free for setting up a captive power plant for its power requirement for export production. This benefit was available wide an exemption notification. They used the power so generated for export production but sold surplus power in domestic tariff area. Customs Department has demanded duty on DG sets and furnace oil as surplus power has been sold in domestic tariff area. The notification does not specifically restrict the use of imported goods for manufacture of exported goods. If you see, what does the exemption notification says? Exemption notification says that whatever DG sets that they are importing is exempted provided it is used for export production. And so they use the power so generated for export but sold surplus, and nowhere in the notification it is given that import goods should be exclusively used only for exported goods. Like that they have not given. It should be used for, but exclusively not given. So we need to make a literal interpretation. Hanil Era Textile Limited Supreme Court case. Hanil Era Textile Limited Supreme Court case. What is that Supreme Court is telling? That in the absence of restrictive clause in the notification, suppose if they use the word solely or exclusively used, then we can take that way, but there is no such words given, and therefore they fulfill, and they have used the DG sets and furnace oil for manufacture of exported goods, and only surplus has been sold. So whether they need to pay any customs duty? No, they are not required to pay any customs duty. So that is this. Then question number 6, referring to section 25 of Customs Act, discuss the following: special exemption and general exemption. General exemption will be given, so in the public interest, already we have understood that general exemption is in the public interest, okay, and whereas special exemption is also in the public interest, but general exemption do not require any exceptional nature circumstances. Normally it will be given, which one? General exemption. But special exemption is circumstances of exceptional in nature, and special exemption not required to be published in official gazette, but general exemption will be published by way of notification in the official gazette, okay. Then so whatever exemption, general exemption that is given, if it is a conditional exemption, that will be over up to 31st of March falling immediately after 2 years from the date of such grant or violation, variation. So 2 years should be counted. So that is March ending 2 years. Immediately after 2 years, there will be one 31st March after 2 years. For example, if the exemption is given on July, so next 2 years from July, thereafter March will come now, that March, okay. Means it can be 2.5 years or 3 years also. So that not 3 years, less than 3 years, more than 2 years also. And so that is with respect to this special exemption and general exemption. 7, write a brief note on the following with reference to Customs Act 1962. Remission of duty on imported goods lost. That is, whenever the imported goods are lost or destroyed or abandoned, in that case, so whatever customs duty that are required to be paid on those goods, upon payment of customs duty can be remitted by the customs officer, okay. So lost or destroyed, loss or destroyed, and when it should have been lost or destroyed? At any time before actual clearance, at any time before actual clearance for home consumption. And duty payable, first we need to pay duty, but that is remitted by the customs officer if the importer is able to prove the loss or destruction. Therefore, the burden to prove that the goods are destroyed is on the importer. And is this section applicable for warehoused goods? Yes. Then second part of this is pilfered goods. Pilfered goods means section 13. As per section 13, when imported goods are pilfered after unloading, but any time before order for clearance, then the duty is not payable on that pilfered goods. However, if such pilfered goods are restored, then whatever customs duty we have not paid, now we need to pay on that. But section 13 is not applicable in case of warehoused goods. This is one type like that they will ask. Sometimes they will be asking distinguish. So when they are asking question like this, separately you need to write about pilferage and separately you need to write about remission. Whenever they are asking questions on distinguish between pilfered goods and lost or destroyed goods, what we need to do is that we need to make a comparative table like this. First, pilfered goods, section 13, and remission, lost or destroyed goods, 23 subsection 1. Pilferage, no duty payable, but there duty payable and then it will be remitted. Pilfered goods, so department gets a compensation from the custodian, but lost or destroyed goods, no such compensation. And pilferage means what? Petty theft by human beings. Loss or destruction can be by act of God, flood, fire accident, etc. And in case of pilferage, is restoration possible? Yes. But in case of remission, the goods are destroyed. Restoration is not possible. And when it should have occurred, pilferage, after unloading and before order for clearance. But that is, remission is after, at any time before clearance for home consumption. And pilferage not applicable for warehoused goods. But here, remission of duty applicable for warehoused goods. And duty need not be calculated. Here we need to calculate the duty and then we will get the refund. Here should be prove pilferage, no need to prove pilferage because it is clearly available in the records. But in case of remission of duty, we need to prove that the goods are destroyed, then only we will get the refund. Like that, we need to write the distinguishing points. Then next question, question number 9. Goods manufactured or produced in India, which were earlier exported and thereafter imported into India, exported and imported into India, will be treated on par with other goods imported into India. Is the proposition correct or any other concession is provided on such import? So we need to write about those two concessions. First, we need to write about section 20, which says that any re-imported goods will be treated on par with imported goods. However, concessions are available under two notifications, notification 45/2017 and notification 60/2018. In that notification 45/2017, whatever benefit we have claimed at the time of export, that we need to pay back at the time of re-import. Suppose if the goods are exported for repairs or any other process, then it should be, when it is re-imported, we need to pay fair value of repairs and freight and insurance, both ways that should be taken. In any other case, no need to pay customs duty. And conditions, the goods should have been re-imported within 3 years plus extend for a further period of 2 years. And the exported goods and imported goods should be same, and the person who exported the goods, ownership also should not have changed. However, this 45/2017 notification is not applicable in case of EOU and warehouse and petrol and tobacco products, goods covered under 4th schedule. Then another notification, notification 60/2018, when goods are exported, it can be imported for repairs or reconditioning, and for that the time limit is 3 years for other than notified goods, 7 years for notified goods, and in case of Nepal and Bhutan 10 years. If it is for refining, remaking, reprocessing, it is 1 year, and within 6 months plus 6 months it should be exported after repairs, reconditioning, etc. And a bond should be executed. The exporter, the importer and the exporter should be same. That is this. So these are the conditions you need to write and you get a question like that. Then write a brief note on stages of imposition of taxes and duties. 3 stages: levy, then assessment and collection. These are the 3 stages. First, there will be levy as to when the duty payable gets attracted, and assessment when it will be computed, and collection of duty when that computed duty, that is quantification of levy, will be payable. About that we need to write. Discuss the provisions relating to denaturing or mutilation of goods. As per section 24, in case of denaturing or mutilation of goods, so no need to pay the customs duty based on the twin purpose. So whatever purpose for which we have imported, that only we need to pay. you can see that what is to be written in case of denaturing or mutilation of goods. Okay. So section 24 gives the power to government to make rules for denature or mutilate the imported goods which are ordinarily used for more than one purpose, so as to make them unfit for one or more such purpose. Okay. If the goods are imported and capable of using for more than one purpose, duty is leviable on the basis of purpose of utilization, then denaturing or mutilation, so that will be made unfit for other purpose, okay. So that is this. So this part we need to write. Then next, so briefly explain the provisions relating to abatement of duty on damaged or deteriorated goods under section 22. In case the imported goods are damaged or deteriorated at any time after unloading, but or before or at the time of unloading, okay, before or during unloading, or by accident after unloading but before examination for assessment by customs authorities, or by accident in warehouse before actual clearance. But the second point and third point should be in case of damage, whereas the first point will be in case of deterioration. Then in that case, so and that too, this accident is not due to any willful act or negligence on the part of importer or his employee. So then only the abatement benefit is applicable. And while abatement is applicable, so customs duty payable only on the proportionate value of the damaged goods. Okay. Then next, briefly explain the following with reference to the provisions of Customs Act. Indian Customs Waters. Indian Customs Waters is extending up to 200 nautical miles from the baseline, that is exclusive economic zone. The powers of the officers under customs extends up to customs waters. India for the purpose of customs is up to 12 nautical miles from baseline, that is territorial waters. Distinguish between Indian territorial waters and Indian customs waters. Indian territorial waters 12 nautical miles, Indian customs waters 200 nautical miles from baseline. Indian territorial waters relevant for deciding whether it is import or export, but Indian customs waters is to exercise the powers of the customs officers. Write a brief note on the constitutional provisions governing the levy of customs duties. Article 246 of the Constitution empowers the government to make law. Accordingly, we have 3 lists under 7th schedule to the Constitution. Union list, list 1 union list, where central government is having power to make law. List 2 state list, where state government is having power to make law. List 3 concurrent list, where both central government and state government is having power to make law. Under this, under union list, so central government has enacted Customs Act 1962, like that we need to write. Then question number 16, examine the validity of the following statements. A beneficial owner of imported goods is a person on whose behalf the goods are being imported. True or false? True, because on whose behalf the goods are imported or exported, or who exercises the effective control over the goods, that person is known as the beneficial owner. Customs area does not include a warehouse. False. Customs area also includes a warehouse. Okay. Customs warehouse is also part of customs area, and you can see that definition we have customs area definition, in that clearly it is given. Okay. Customs area to mean customs station or a warehouse. Warehouse is a license given. Okay. And customs station means port, airport, etc. Then next, customs station includes international courier terminal. Yes, customs station means port, airport, land customs station, inland, that is airport, courier terminal. So international courier terminal. So foreign post office, this will be treated as, customs station. Okay. So any customs port, airport, international courier terminal, foreign post office, and land customs station. Okay. Then last question in this chapter 1. Rock and Rock Limited, India Limited, imported a consignment from USA by sea. The value of the consignment was 7,50,000 and the total duty payable was 1,50,000. Company filed a bill of entry for home consumption, but before inspection and clearance for home consumption, it found that the goods were damaged. On filing a representation to the customs department, proper officer refused to claim for abatement because goods were already unloaded. the proper officer is in agreement with the claim that the value of goods have come down to only 1,50,000. See, abatement is applicable at any time before actual clearance, but in study material it is given that it is available, so at any time after unloading, but before their examination. But actually it is available even in case of warehoused goods. They are telling other than warehoused goods, which is wrong, okay, which is wrong. Even in case of warehoused goods also abatement is applicable. So this paragraph is wrong, but the answer what they computed is correct. So therefore customs duty payable proportionately. What is that? For 7,50,000, if the customs duty is 1,50,000, then for 1,50,000, what will be the proportionate customs duty payable? So that will be 30,000. 1,50,000 divided by 7,50,000 into 1,50,000, that will be 30,000 is the customs duty payable. Therefore, from 1,50,000, 30,000 means abatement is 1,20,000. Okay. Then another part. So another part of this question, would your answer be different if the goods get deteriorated after unloading? No. The deterioration should have happened at any time before or at the time of unloading of goods. Thereafter, if deterioration happens, so deterioration occurs before or during the unloading of goods. So here imported goods are deteriorated after unloading, so we will not get any benefit. If it is damaged, we will get the benefit under 22, but for deterioration, it should be either before or at the time of unloading. Okay. So these are the questions on chapter 1.